Hey, Scorpio, thanks for dropping in with me. We are here to kick off this Pluto retrograde season in your sign, and I think that's very appropriate considering that Pluto is one of your rulers, so you're very familiar with this territory. We have Pluto retrograde right now in Aquarius. It will continue to make its backslide, eventually winding up in Capricorn, which we're pretty familiar with. I think most of us know the effects of that with what went down last year when Pluto spent a fair amount of time in the sign of Capricorn retrograde. Now, that is also the sign that it will be going direct in on October 11th, but we're just getting used to this energy, okay? Pluto originally made its retrograde motion beginning on May 2nd, all right? So we got quite a bit of some time to journey in this retrograde cycle. Pluto is a slow mover. For you, Scorpio, it's all going down in your fourth house of home, family, the root cellar, and we'll be winding up in Capricorn in your third house about communication. Okay, so let's see. We're going to look at what's coming in for you through that lens of those houses and just see what details we can get for you that can help support you through this process. Pluto retrograde transits are never easy. And I think it's important that we figure out the best way to navigate this so we can really, make it turn out in the best way possible all around, all right? So home areas where we're looking for you, this is for any significant Scorpio placement. Also, if you happen to have a prominent placement in that 8th house, or if you are Taurus rising, you may find resonance with this read, and I do recommend this read for the collective as a whole, since, Scorpio energy is so front and center for all of us right now with this cycle. Okay, so let's see, Scorpio, what do we got coming in here for you right off the bat? We have King of Wands energy, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I feel like this is about you also really taking the lead in terms of your household affairs right now. You may feel like you're on your own in terms of pulling together that stability. You may feel like you really have to maybe take a strong action as well to get something stabilized on the home front. I'm saying that because I'm noticing this little lizard here down in the corner. I've never noticed that before. And lizard is about dream time. So there can be sort of some like new visioning you have around the home front, what you would like to see take place on the home front moving forward into the future. You could have been dealing with a fire sign energy as well in connection to the home. All right, so let's see what's coming in here. See what information we have coming in here. We're going to start out with that 4th house, just sort of see how things will get kicked off there, and then we'll finish out the read looking at the house of communication. We have a crossing influence coming in here. I think in the past, you used to be in this place where you weren't quite sure about what to do. Maybe in some cases, you even felt like you didn't have any power or say-so on the home front, or you were somehow stuck where you presently are. There's some feeling here of feeling trapped, and maybe trapped in the mind, the ideas you had about what you would like to change at home. Maybe you felt like you had to follow somebody else's lead. It could be that you were bound up in some kind of agreements too. This could be rental agreements or somebody who held more power in the situation you were in. But I feel like you've moved out of this position. I feel like you're taking charge. I feel like you're taking more ownership at home. You're sort of thinking about what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and where you do have to coexist with others and maybe you're not on the same page, you're going to start really looking at the piece you hold in that. How do you need to shift in order to get things stabilized at home and feeling really good, not only for you, but anybody else you may share the home space with? I also feel like this is feeling really at home within your own body, okay? So maybe there's been a lot of stress. Maybe there's been a lot of mental, emotional turmoil. Maybe you've just been feeling really stuck and incapable of making a decisive choice in regard to where you're going to live or who you're going to share that space with, what that looks like. I feel like you're moving out of this space though. And if you were kind of stuck where you were because of some kind of contractual agreement, like a renter's agreement, I feel like now you're getting the opportunity to be freed up from that, right? So there's some kind of strong action that's going to be taken here. I think you're really taking charge where you used to kind of just defer maybe to somebody else, or just sort of like, well, this is just the way it is. I have to just kind of deal with this. This could even be in relation to family matters, right? Maybe you live near your family, and so you felt like I have to stay close to my family because that's just what you do. You know, there's something here that you used to really feel bound to, I would say, okay? But you're freeing yourself from that. And as you free yourself from that, you're going to start to get a different perspective. I think that it's going to ignite a fire in you. It's going to give you different options for your future in terms of your home life, okay? But I do feel like you were stuck for a while. Basis of the matter is this, okay? The Six of Wands. There is some big successful cycle that wants to come in for you. 6:33 on the clock. I do feel like a new vision will come in, and I feel like there will also be helpful influences that will support this. This could be a move, okay? You could be moving on up in terms of your home. The home life could be improving all around. If you've been having hurdles in relation to others that you live with, share space with, I feel like you might be getting on the same team. This could have something to do with you sort of looking at the part you've played in the imbalances on the home front and adjusting accordingly. When we got Pluto retrograde, we're looking at what's going on within us. It's not about the others. Even if you're dealing with challenges with other people, you have to reflect back on yourself and ask yourself, how am I contributing to that? How am I contributing to power struggles in my home environment, with my family, with others I share space with? How am I at odds with myself? You know, because when I think of the home, I think of our earth suit. Our body is like the home for our soul. So where are you feeling like, you know, in two minds about how to best take care of your body? This can be anything from, you know, knowing I really need to start that exercise program. I know that I should be eating better, but oh man, that brownie sundae looks really freaking good. And I'd rather just like chill and nap all day today because I'm working so hard just to keep everything going at home. Some of you have been really feeling the pressure on the home front and the stress, and you've been up in your head because of financial constraints. And some of you were originally in a situation where maybe you were sharing space with another, and then that changed, and that person helped contribute to the financial output in the home. And so that really affected you. You've had to really look at this and go, okay, you know, I have to step up to the plate. I got to hustle more. I got to generate more income here. And some of you may just be feeling really tired in that regard. I do feel like there's this piece that's coming in pretty consistently about looking at how you can, you know, improve your quality of life, okay? And improve your levels of relaxation and improve the way you deal with stress management. Maybe some of the ways you're dealing with stress management is also causing kind of a rocking of stability, all right? So this is something you want to look at, certainly in terms of the physical body, okay? There's ways that you can, you know, enjoy the pleasures of food and enjoy the pleasures of life without being out of balance. There's something here that maybe something has been used as a bit of a crutch to kind of deal with some external conflict internally. You know what I'm saying? It's like maybe you felt like you couldn't really assert yourself in your home environment. I feel like that's really flipping here. But because you kind of had to like suck it up or hold it in or mind your P's and Q's, I feel like you might have internalized a little bit too much stress. Some of you have a tendency to sort of like eat your emotions. You know what I'm saying? You might turn to food or some other kind of vice to kind of, you know, just drown out what you're feeling. And what you don't recognize is that's actually the source of the anxiety or keeping you up in your head, making it hard for you to sleep at night, because that's what happens. If you shut down the emotions, then it goes all up to the head. Okay, the head becomes very active. So I feel like you might be getting out of your head too in this cycle. I feel like you're looking at a lot of really deep stuff. I think you're looking at family patterns. Okay. I think you're looking at issues you've had within the family. places where you feel at odds with your family as you're trying to assert yourself, because this is happening with Pluto beginning its retrograde motion in Aquarius. And when we look at Aquarius, it's all about that desire to rebel, move into expansion. So I feel like there's an old set way of thinking about things that's really kept you stuck for too long, and you're rebelling against that 10:44 on the clock. There's something major that's ending here on the home front, also within the family, okay? And with those that you share space with, also with how you care for your body, all right? I feel like this is coming in very foundationally for you. Some of you have been dealing with back issues for a long time. I got lower back issues coming in very strongly for that. That's very root chakra oriented. This is all root chakra issues that you'll be dealing with. You might need to really strengthen your roots, okay? I feel like, you know, you might be getting into a lot of core strengthening to deal with that. That'll really benefit your back quite a bit, right? And it's just about getting started too. Just about getting started. So it could be that during this time, some of you could have something come up with the lower back. You know, you could have disc issues that get kind of activated. I don't know why this is coming in, but it is something around sacroiliac, like instability in the sacrum. All right. You might be going to see the chiropractor more often. You might be getting a long-standing back issue looked into. Some of you may be planning a surgery. You might be a little nervous about this, okay? With that 8 of Swords in reverse, I feel like, you know, it will benefit you. I feel like whatever this is will benefit you, and it'll be successful, okay? It improves things for you. Very interesting. Okay, give me some more details about this. Give me some more details about this for Scorpio. What's going to be coming up for Scorpio during this Pluto retrograde cycle as it's making its transition through their 4th house? What is important for Scorpio to focus on during this time? What does Scorpio need to be aware of? Yeah, you're really building stability for yourself. I see that, okay? And a lot of you are dealing with family issues, or you're really fixated on, you know, your desire, you know, to have somebody to build with. Some of you are building for yourself, you know, you're on your own. Some of you are recently single. Some of you have been holding it down on your own for a long time. Some of you are single mothers, okay? You could have a lot of stuff coming up at this time around the mother in general. That 4th house is ruled by Cancer, okay? You could be dealing with a Cancer. I also feel like that mother energy is just at the forefront. I think building stability for your family, building a stable, flourishing, happy, abundant life is really important to you at this time. I think you've been holding it down for yourself, but you're really wanting that love piece to come in. And maybe you've had your emotions shut down for a little bit. Now, some of you, you're already married, or you're already sharing space with somebody, and you've really had to keep your emotions clamped down. I feel like there's been challenges there, all right? And you may be kind of holding your tongue. Maybe, you know, it's not measuring up to what you want it to be. You want there to be more mutual investment in the nurturing of the home. You know, you really want to feel like you're a team there. And even if you just share space with roommates, I do see this like, you know, exercising of strength, trying to kind of like hold the emotions in a little bit, you know, trying to stay balanced. Maybe there's been some arguments or some disruption in the home, but I see that this stability is wanting to come in, but it requires the proper foundation here, okay, with the Knight of Pentacles. And it does require your investment. It begins first with you, because when we're looking at this Pluto retro cycle, it don't matter what's happening, you know, externally in your relationships, in the world around you. What matters is your piece in it and how you're dealing with it. And are you willing to take accountability and responsibility and do the work? So I feel like you're just getting started to invest in this. You're just starting to think about what you want to create for yourself on the home front. And some of you are just starting to really like open up to the idea of love again. If you've been single for a while, or if you used to share space with somebody, you know, maybe this has really been on your mind. If you and a lover broke up and you were living together, I think you've really been kind of like maybe refraining from sharing your heart with another because this is something you really had to process. But I think that this dream is starting to like reawaken within you. You're really wanting to get back to a place where you can be in a connection where it's committed and both of you are building together. So I think you might be, you know, doing a lot of deep inner work, kind of looking at where did things go wrong and how can I make better choices in the future. You might be looking at ways that there was sort of like an off power dynamic in that relationship and it really affected the stability of the household. This might have revolved specifically around money. And so you might be taking steps right now to really shore up your finances to ensure that you don't end up in that kind of imbalanced dynamic again, where you have to sort of like, you know, just sort of keep the peace, even if you're not in agreement with something, because you feel like, well, I don't pull enough weight financially, right? That coming in for some of you. Some of you are just really looking at the ways that maybe there were control issues in the connection. Maybe you felt like you didn't have any control at home. You kind of just had to go with the flow. There's something about taking back, you know, your control over the kind of home or environment you want to find yourself in. And if you're sharing space, needing to figure out, you know, what your piece is in that so you can compromise with others and get on the same page. There might have been too much like people asserting themselves and not really considering what's best for the whole household in the past. And I feel like you're going to be kind of like grappling with this and trying to figure out the best way forward. Some of you are wanting to invest in a new home. And you're working really hard to stabilize the finances so you can do this, so you can prepare to make a major move, or in some cases, major renovations that work for everybody, okay? Maybe somebody in the home really needs their own space, this piece coming in, all right? Any more details about this? Any more details about this for Scorpio? Any more details about this? You could be dealing with an earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. There may be a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn that approaches you. You could have Taurus rising as well, okay? This could be coming in very strongly for you if you're a Taurus rising, or if you have Taurus strongly aspected in your chart. I do feel like there's an opportunity coming in here. If you invest in it, you have to invest in it though. That could lead to some financial growth for you, all right? There's also some communication coming in around this with the Knight of Swords. There might be something that's coming in that sort of like shakes things up. I can see this in your living situation. This might require you to make a quicker move than you were planning on. You may have been chipping away at this, you know, sort of shoring up finances or preparing to make some major change on the home front. All right. But I feel like there's something rushing in here very swiftly. Could be coming in from an air sign energy, or you could have air strongly factoring in your chart. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I think it's that Aquarius season too. Something's really going to shake something up here where it's got this kind of energy to it, Scorpio, where you're going to have to make a real quick decision where you may have wanted to kind of like draw out that time a little bit. I feel like this is going to move you into action. It has something to do with some kind of communication coming in. This could be something in relation to a contract too, if you're a renter, okay? This may have something to do with a leasing agreement or something that requires you to act quickly. This could be in relation to a move, all right? You might need to move faster than you were expecting in regard to the home front. And this could relate on many different levels. It could be, you know, you find out that they're changing the leasing agreement. This changes things for you, or there's some kind of contractual work that you're involved in with renovations on the home. And so maybe you need to like go somewhere while this work is done. This may require that you travel, okay? Some of you got a job opportunity, but it's out of the area where you live now. And so it would require a move, and you're looking at this, but something's coming in here, some kind of opportunity that's being presented, all right? Keep your balance, all right? This might activate you a little bit with the Temperance here, Sagittarian energy. Yes, this is about moving into expansion. Also, something may come in around this that sort of highlights what this is about with that Sagittarius full moon that's coming in on the 23rd. That's just around the corner here, okay? Let's get some more details about this. What is this communication coming in for Scorpio around this? Yeah, look at this. It's something that's changing in your finances, right? I feel like this is an opportunity to step into greater expansion financially where you're not so like reliant on financial support or help from others, right? This could be in relation to a golden work opportunity, but maybe it requires you to take some swift action. Maybe you have to move to take advantage of this opportunity. Or maybe there's some unexpected help that's coming in and you didn't think this would come through for you. Some of you applied for some kind of assistance, financial assistance, aid, a loan. You didn't think you were going to get it. The surprising thing is it actually may come through. And this has you thinking a lot different about the home environment you want to create for yourself, but it also requires you to make some major choices. Now, when this comes up, you may deal with power struggles within the home, especially if you share space with another. Maybe they don't want to move, you know, and so there's some kind of battle of wills that happens here. Maybe somebody is trying to talk you out of it. You know, maybe family doesn't agree with this. They want you to stay nearby, okay? There's a lot that could come up here, and there could be ways that you hold yourself back, all right? And you might even talk yourself into be paranoid about moving into this expansion when it's actually something that brings you into alignment. And it was 2208 to 2211 when I saw that on the clock. So this is definitely something that will put you in a stronger position, okay? It's something that puts you in a stronger position. It stabilizes you financially. It has you feeling really comfortable and at home and feeling really good, all right? But there's something here about really looking at why you are more apt to sort of stay within this comfort zone or stay within a dynamic that's not feeling good to you, where you don't feel like you have as much control, and really look at what needs to happen to get, you know, to get the balance right here too. Because I feel like where you are sharing space with others, it's working really well for them in terms of how things are divvied out on the home front. This could be in relation to, you know, work that's done on the home front or contributions that are made financially on the home front. You know, there's something here that does need to be balanced out, and it needs to feel like a more even give and take. 23, yes, something needs to change here. But I feel like through valuing yourself and, you know, really getting clear about how you can maybe contribute more, you know, pulling this together as well. You know, where have you maybe been, you know, sort of falling short? Because we do have to look at our shadow stuff with Pluto retrograde. I feel like it'll prepare you to take a very strong action, and you'll be able to get really clear from an emotional standpoint too, what needs to be communicated here. And we know that communication piece is really important when it comes to this matter, okay? Because you do have it then, you know, Pluto going retrograde into Capricorn, and eventually it will go direct into Capricorn in your third house. So there's something that you're actually going to be communicating about here, sharing with others. By the time you get to October 11th, you'll know what this is about. And it does involve a choice. Gemini could be in the main frame here with the Lovers. This could involve a soulmate on the scene. This could be, you know, something you feel in two minds about, or others are at odds with you about this. And again, I feel like it could be in relation to a move or some kind of major change happening on the home front. This could even be a choice of, do I, you know, move in with somebody that I'm digging, you know? Do we actually get a space together? What does that look like? Is it better for us each to have our own spaces? You may be talking this out, okay? Let's see what this is about. What's going on for Scorpio as Pluto retrogrades into Capricorn, where it'll eventually go direct on October 11th. What do they need to know about this cycle? Okay. I just got for the home front stuff, while you got the retrograde action going on in Aquarius, you might need to kind of like hold your landlord accountable in regard to some repairs that have been left, you know, sitting for too long. You may need to go over your landlord if this has been going on for too long, okay? You know, you do have rights. You do have rights, okay? You don't need to just like tough it out. So we got the Hermit coming in here in relation to communication. And we got the King of Pentacles here, all right? You could be dealing with a Virgo, very strong Virgo energy coming in here. This could be somebody who, you know, is in a really good position financially. It could be this person's home, all right? And maybe that's why you felt like you didn't really have a say about how things went on the home front. This coming in for some of you. You could have a strong Virgo placement in your chart, okay? Maybe you're looking to step out and move out on your own, some of you, okay? You're not quite sure where you want to move to yet. You're not quite sure what the correct move is. You just know that, you know, where you've been doesn't feel quite right. There is this strong desire to be in a good place independently. A lot of you are making this transition, okay, where you used to be living with somebody and now you're looking at what does it look like stepping out on my own. Okay, I see that. I see that. And there may have already been tense communications about this. But I do feel like that's going to be coming to a close here, all right, with the world, and successfully. So you could be in some kind of negotiating with a Taurus, another Scorpio like you, okay? You could be dealing with any of these signs. It's something that affects you very strongly. But what I know for sure is you will be powerfully affected during this cycle, especially with your ruler in play. And something is fundamentally shifting here. Something is fundamentally changing. And it is coming to a successful conclusion. All right. So if you've been worried, big block. Okay. So you've been worried about being stuck. Maybe you felt like you were really put in a stuck spot and there was no way out. I don't care what's got you feeling like you're stuck right now, or you're bound to anything that you don't want to be bound to. You're going to get free of this, okay? The way is going to open, and quite successfully for you. You had the World come up. You had the Six of Wands come up. So I know you're going to get to the other side of this. You're just in a challenging time right now, okay? You're in a challenging time right now. And, you know, right now, maybe you're not ready to address this communication. I see that. And I do see that you also got your guard up a bit. All right. You do have your guard up a bit. And I think you are trying to contain your emotions. All right. This could be in relation to an ex. Okay. This could be in relation to a Libra, a Gemini, an Aquarius. All right. I think there's something that went on here where you felt really betrayed, and it hit you close to the bone. It really got you in your heart, all right, with the King of Cups here. So this is an X for many of you. All right, and you may be hearing from this person. This person may be reaching out to you. This person may be issuing communication here. Maybe this person wants to get things worked out on the home front, all right? And I feel like this is a position where you're kind of paused right now. You're like, hold up, wait a minute here, okay? Woo, light wanting to go out. There is a lot of blockage energy going on during this portion, and it's all around talking about the communication. So I do feel like you've been dealing with a lot of communication blockages here, right? And there's holdups because of this. You know that there's been an unhealthy dynamic here. You could have been dealing with a Capricorn as well, right? Pisces energy here, all right? Something has been really unhealthy here. And so you have to think very clearly before you envision moving forward with this character. Whatever communication is being presented here, it does have you kind of like holding back, maybe even taking some space to sit with this before you actually give your response. I see that. You're doing some planning in regard to this. You're really thinking, you're thinking of whether or not this would be a compromising arrangement. I see that. Okay, give me some more details about this communication and what's coming up for Scorpio around this. I'm probably going to have to go and take this into the YouTube studio and edit out those pauses because there was quite a bit of breaking up there, and I don't want you to have to suffer through that when I make this go live here, okay? But it's interesting how it looks like there's just a lot of communication blocks right now. This might be part of the problem that's been causing issues on the home front. Look, there's somebody's going to propose something to you. I see that, okay, with the Ace of Pentacles here. Somebody's proposing a new way to move forward, you know, in this arrangement. For a lot of you, it's with an ex, right? I do see that there's been some kind of disappointment in this situation. There was a loss here. Somebody's not over it, you know, and they feel like not all is lost. They feel like there's a way to work it out, all right? But it's interesting here. The Queen of Pentacles is like, I don't know if I can get on board with that. Do you see that? Look, Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Page of Cups in reverse. Like something just feels a little too fishy or feels like it's being evaded in this situation. And so I feel like this is what the communication is coming in around. I feel like you're going to receive some communication from an ex. It could be a Pisces. It could be a Cancer. It could be a Scorpio like you. I think the communication feels a little off to you. You're not so sure if this is a good idea. You remember what happened back there, the disappointment. You're not so sure if there's anything that can come back into balance. And if there is, you feel like it might be coming from another direction altogether. All right, I have to say. But I think this is what you're being prepared to really deal with, you know, once you got Pluto going direct in Capricorn, October 11th. So fall, look for this matter to really come to a head for you. I'm going to go ahead and do a cut of the deck on this and see what it has to say, and then we'll get you an overarching theme card. Oof. I mean, I think you're willing to hear the person out. I see that. I mean, clearly this is, for a lot of you, this is an X. Because we have Queen of Swords to King of Swords. We have King of Cups to Queen of Cups. We have King of Pentacles to Queen of Pentacles. I have to say, the Queen of Pentacles is in reverse here, okay? So these are two people that are also on a journey of growth here, because with the way these are showing up in pairs, that lets me know we're looking at an Emperor to Empress situation here, and both people are in a process of growth. I feel like you're holding this up, though, because you're not sure if it's wise to invest in this direction. I think you're feeling it's not wise to invest in this direction because you feel like in some way you were disrespected, you weren't valued, you weren't appreciated. Maybe you were also put in a compromising financial position. You felt really disempowered here. I feel like your Queen of Swords energy is really strong right now. Again, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius coming in. You could have a strong air sign placement in your chart. Don't have to, but I feel like it's this energy. You know something unequivocally. You know a truth. You feel like this person might try to evade that truth. They don't want to talk about the tough stuff. You're going to demand it. I think you're receptive to hearing this person out, but they have to come correct. They have to be willing to talk about things. I'm not sure what you're going to decide about that, though. That's something that you're going to discover as you move through this process and you really sit with your root cellar stuff, maybe even looking at what went on in your parents' relationship, you know, what was reflected to you about the family dynamic growing up. How is that affecting your present situation and your position in it? There's a lot you're looking at here. You're looking at security issues, you know. Does it feel safe? Does the home space feel safe? Do I feel like I belong here? That's everything coming up around the fourth house. Mother factoring strongly, okay? So look at the way, you know, your relationship with your mother and also your example of your mother, how that is reflecting in relation to all of these issues. But I do see somebody stepping to you, okay, who feels like there's a way to work things out. Maybe wants to try to work things out with you on the home front too. Maybe feels it's worth another shot. Feels like something can be reclaimed here. I do see you feeling, at least at this point right now, you feel very resistant to that idea. Will that change? I don't know. That has everything to do with what goes on while you're doing your inner shadow work, okay? Because there is the need as well for you to get out of your head and get out of a victim mentality here too, okay? We see that with the Eight of Swords that came in initially for you. I do see you getting out of that space, right? But what that looks like on the other side, only you're going to know. I do see you considering it, right? You are going to consider, should I invest in it? But a lot has to do with this truth that comes forward towards you, all right? I think you're very firm on certain things, okay? With the Three of Cups coming in here to the Seven of Wands, this could be somebody who prefers an open relationship dynamic, all right? It could have been that dynamic that sabotaged things in the past, or there could have been the introduction of another lover into the mix. This caused problems, this caused falling out. For some of you, this is the deal breaker. Like, I'm not going to invest in this if, you know, you're going to want to just be out there playing the field. Or if that does work for you, you may be like, hey, you know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You're going to do that, I'm going to do that too. Okay. So there's like standing up for what feels fair to you in a situation. Also, if there was anything that happened on the down low like that, you're going to require that this person comes up and out with it. Like, there can't be anything hidden here. I feel that. All right. This could be that partying could have been a problem. Somebody has an issue with partying, drinking too much. In some case, you know, some cases relying on other substances. This was really causing an unstable home environment. I think that's a big, big problem if there's kids at home, okay? And there's something that's being communicated here. Something is being talked about, all right? Whatever happens here, I feel like it is a successful outcome with the Six of Wands, however it turns out. And there is a moving forward with the Chariot on the scene, all right? And there's a way to work things out here, all right? But it's up to you to determine. And I feel like before there can be this fresh start, you got to find your own balance. And that's what this initial cycle is all about, with Pluto doing its retrograde slide in Aquarius, in your root cellar. You're rebelling against certain shoulds that were put on you by your family. You're rebelling against the way things have always been. You're wanting to find your own way here. And I do feel like you're finding your emotional balance as well. There's a lot of subconscious stuff that's going to be bubbling up for you that you're going to be sorting through. But I do see a brand new direction emerging in the fall. And a lot of you will be moving, man. You'll be moving. At the very least, you'll be traveling somewhere to explore an option of relocation, or to explore a new job opportunity, or potentially, you know, moving in with somebody that's at a distance, okay? Aries energy here, Aquarian energy here. I think that, you know, you do have some fears that'll be nipping at your heels. You might need to get rid of a lot of stuff. You might be holding on to too much stuff. Emotionally, yes, there may be a need to pare down on your physical belongings as well. You might be in motion for a little bit while you figure out where you really want to land. Some of you are embracing more of a like bohemian kind of lifestyle. You just want to travel for a bit. You don't want to lay down roots. You really feel like you want to find yourself. And I think that that could be a really good thing for those of you that are feeling pulled in that direction, okay? And you may be worried, am I ever going to have my new beginning? Is this ever going to come? I feel like I just can't break out of this cycle. It's got to come to an end first, you know? And like I said, there's some processing that needs to be done around this. You have a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear around this. There's a lot of a sense of being held back, but it's an illusion. And a lot of your fears are unfounded, all right? There's so much on the other side of this, and you'll discover that with the sun, okay? Every sign of success coming in here for you. But you are going to move through some shadowy stuff, man, okay? And I feel like children factor very strongly here in this situation, whether that's your mother, okay? or your mom's really on your butt, okay? Or if a lot of your childhood stuff is being affected and bubbling up to the surface and you're processing a lot around this as you're dealing with the first initial phase of this backwards motion of Pluto. But I do see that it's going to be lighter and brighter for you. This could be in relation to a Leo, things improving. I do feel like there is a moving forward here. You're going to cast away those shadows and something positive comes out of it, all right? I do feel like there will be beneficial communication coming in. It does look like there's a possibility of really coming to that place where you're like, I figured out where I belong and I feel at home in myself. And I feel like I have a say now too about my living situation, what that looks like. It's going to be a little bumpy getting there, okay? But there is a new beginning on offer. So I think you'll consider it strongly, though, before you take it, okay? Let's get a overarching theme card here. Yeah, I mean, there's some healing happening here with Cauldron. There's some synergy happening too, okay? So something is going to get cooking here that's going to feel right. At first, it comes in through what maybe feels like a little run of bad luck, or you may have the past kind of haunting you, past trailing behind you there, okay? But you've learned a lot in this process. And I have to say, fortune will meet opportunity, and maybe through what initially seems like reversal, okay? So let's see. Overarching theme for Scorpio for this Pluto retrograde cycle that they're going to be moving through. Overarching theme for Scorpio here during this Pluto retrograde cycle they're moving through, what they need to know. What does Scorpio need to know? What is the best approach for them? What do they need to keep in mind? I saw a flash of temptation there, risk versus reward. I think that's what you're really going to be weighing up when this communication kicks off, okay? The risk versus the reward. I think it is a tempting offer, I have to say. What will be presented will be tempting, but you're going to have a hard time trusting it. I feel that, okay? See here, but it is midnight, the most magical hour of all. I do feel like you're going to slide in right at the 11th hour, you know. It tends to go like that for a lot of Scorpios, you know. It's sort of like, ooh, ooh, ah. I just heard Saved by the Bell. Interesting. Saved by the Bell. I just had some of my notes fall, okay? Some of my notes fall. I wonder what that could mean. Maybe you need to go back and look at some notes. Maybe you need to go back and look at an agreement, okay? Because that did come up about contractual agreements. You might need to go back and look at something that was, you know, agreed to. Maybe you need to have an agreement. Maybe that's something that needs to be ironed out, or the details of that need to be ironed out. This could have to do with some kind of legal process that involves signing documents. Follow your intuition in regard to this with scrying. You really need to make sure you get clear details on this. It's wise to pause and consider at this time, you know, very wise to, you know, take your time getting involved in any kind of arrangements like this, okay? So do remember the history of the situation. This is important here. And cut the deck and see what we got. Lady de los Muertos, acceptance and equality, okay? And on the other side of that, Skull of Darkness, blind spots. So there's definitely something here that will kick off with your intuition in regard to this offer. You know there's blind spots here. I feel like just with the way that happened, this was all my like Pluto. Ironically, it's all my Pluto retrograde notes about particular dates of significance. Oh, maybe I need to mention those dates of significance to you. Interesting. There might be something coming up at that time that you have to sign. Let's see here. Interesting. I'm going to read this to you, actually. I think this is what it's about because I said my notes. This is something that a little creative writing I've been doing here. And I'm going to read it to you because I feel like it's your message. There's something here for you. I'll tell you those dates too, but it says, quad rule? Really? Lyric couldn't believe they'd grabbed the wrong composition book. And at the same time, it added up because here she was living in a box, feeling boxed in, stuck in the center of the borders put around who she could be in a society that had compartmentalized her existence into an equation that always missed the essential variable to make it make sense. She never did like algebra. I'm exhausted. I don't want to be up this early. Why did I agree to this? I said that I did this to myself. All last night, the whole 4 hours of it that I was trying to sleep was filled with weird dreams, people watching me, trying to get to me, weird fragments of repressed memories. I don't want to remember. Don't I get a say in this? I know, but I don't want to know. I don't need the details. It's why I escape through the music. It's why I run. And maybe that's why it can only catch up with me in dreams. Too much here reminds me of where I don't ever want to be again. And at the same time, it's home. Oh, whoa. It's all I've ever known, sitting in the center of this box labeled who you're here to be. I want to be where I don't belong to anyone but myself. Wow. Oh my gosh. I got crazy chills right now. That's the page it was open to on the floor. Wow. Okay. All right. All right. Some dates of significance that you might want to pay attention to. June 2nd, Jupiter will be moving through Gemini at that time. And that is the house of communication, the third house, where it will be going direct for you. It's forming a trine with Pluto. That's a positive influence. So there might be some clear communication that comes in at that time. It might come in for you through a dream. It might make clear to you what you need to bring to an end in order to experience a sense of acceptance and karmic balance in a situation. Follow your intuitive hunches at that time, all right? Whatever this is, it'll have a magnifying effect. It'll be like a magnifying glass helping you spot a little detail, okay? The devil's in the details. And if you don't pay attention to this, it can be your undoing. So if there's anything you're asked to sign or anything you're supposed to overlook at that time regarding any kind of documentation, be like eagle eyes on it, man. You really need to like look at the details here. And if you can buy your little self a little time before signing off on anything, I recommend you do that. July 21st, Mars trine Pluto, another positive influence, okay? A time when you can take action on what initially came through back on June 2nd. So again, if you can buy a little time, like if you get some kind of communication coming in, somebody wants you to move forward really rapidly on something, they want your answer, see if you can hold it off until July 21st to say, I need a little time here. Or maybe you can try something out on a trial basis, you know, feel it out. I think that would be really wise, okay? Really, really wise, all right? Wow, that's pretty wild the way that that came in, but I think it's absolutely perfect. And yeah, stay strong, stick to your guns. Remember to ground yourself out. Remember to create space to really process what you're feeling. I think getting in touch with your element, getting by the water can help you flow through these changes and these decisions and this important communication that's coming in. But it looks like you land in a strong spot when all's said and done. So keep your eyes on the prize and remember to find that place where you really feel like you belong. I think it's coming.